You mean I'm never going to have a conversation about when I'm available anymore? That's priceless. But most of the people just come in and you says, okay, Hervé is available at this time. I want to have a strategy session. I have the link. They click on it. And then here's a request. You want yes, no, when is it? And, if I go on vacation or change some plans, I just change the whole thing and it changes for everybody. It's amazing. It's priceless.
I am delighted to welcome Hervé Da Costa, who has been very kind to be a part of our customer showcase. So Hervé, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
I'm a business coach. I pretty much coach high-end clients, CEOs, executive teams in French or in English. And I've been doing this for quite a while, over 20 years now. I spent some time in Silicon Valley in 2 startups. I was an executive there. And from there, I decided to work for myself and pretty much a one-person business and move and settle in France at the same time. My background is I'm an engineer. I became a programmer. At the time, we were creating internet and coding Unix. Nobody knew about it, and we didn't know the internet would become the internet, and we were coding like crazy. And basically, we were building the building block of the internet way back. I was an engineer. I left that and became an IT director, and then I joined a startup, and I was in charge of the whole customer product management thing, and I evolved in understanding very much like you. And then I changed to another startup, and then at one point, I didn't get along with the CEO, and he fired me. And then I was quite successful, but we didn't get along. So it prompted me to go into personal development. And what I love doing for my own life is to help people succeed and doing it faster and all of that. So somehow an insight came in and I saw that I would be a coach for life. So I redesigned my whole life for that.
And so how long ago was that? Because coaching is quite a popular thing and is growing now, but...
Oh yeah, I started when nobody took coaching seriously. So I became really a professional coach about 25 years ago.
In terms of like the drivers of your business, what's driving that? Where is that growth coming from for your company?
One of the things I know is that in my type of business, trust is very important. So people call me because they trust me. And then they say, Hervé, I've met you 1 year, 2 years, 10 years ago. And I was part of this. Now I'm the CEO. And I'm in trouble because I have a team and we need to get everybody to align. And then they call me for alignment and just says, well, it's like startups would come. And I had a startup in the middle of COVID. They came in and says, we're 5 founders and we don't speak to each other anymore. And we just all of us divorced. Can you help us?
Interesting. So it's a brilliant business model in that you're working with teams that have maybe potentially junior people on them, but those junior people will become senior people and they will use you again. So it's repeat business really from that point of view.
Yeah, or they trust you forever. I have clients I've had for more than 15 years.
So as a business owner, what keeps you up at night then? What worries you?
For years, you're always worried about having enough money for the family. I'm kind of obsessed about this because I grew up in Africa and all that, So I probably have enough money now to stop working. But I still worry about the pipeline. And that's the bottom line of any CEO, right? He just says, listen, if you don't have a pipeline, hello, we don't have oxygen. So that's the number one answer. It's like everything is tied up to making sure we have some kind of pipeline and everything there. The second thing is for me is right now is saying, I just want to touch the right people and have the right relationship. How do I get there? And when I have the right relationship, how do I do this effectively for them and for me? Because I don't want to overwork. So a lot of my work is how do I share my message so they get it and they engage with it, and how do I make it so that it sticks?
What tools are you using? I know that you're using YouCanBookMe, but other than that, like what do you use in your day-to-day that helps you get through? Which ones do you love? Which ones do you hate, but you still use them?
Over COVID, I decided to put everything online because my clients were asking, put everything online, Hervé. We have people in Macau, in Singapore, everywhere. They will never fly them to your training. So can you put things online? So I learned about Kajabi, and I love Kajabi. And I'm also frustrated with it. So I'm going to be using MailChimp at the same time. So I have these tools that are quite useful. So I use Final Cut Pro to create videos, and I don't use Adobe complex things. And now this AI thing, ChatGPT is, wow, is taking the whole thing to a whole other level.
So how do you use
Spending
it?
10 cents. Well, I've put in there everything about me, my website, my videos, my book. I just put it in this thing. And then the thing is actually feels like a consultant that knows me from birth.
Okay, so let's talk about YouCanBookMe now. So what led you to use it?
A while back, I had an administrative assistant, a virtual assistant, because I was spending too much time finding a common time with my clients, and I said, forget this thing. And so my assistant was doing that, and then it was too much. And we would have to cross calendars and figure out how to have access in a safe way. And eventually I discovered your application, and I looked into it, and I said, well, I'm going to put a link out there that's going to put my availability, and I decide my availability, and people request, and I can say yes or no. You mean I'm never going to have a conversation about when I'm available anymore? That's priceless. But most of the people just come in and you say, okay, Hervé is available at this time. I want to have a strategy session. I have the link and I put it just about in the right place. They click on it and then here's a request. You want yes, no, when is it? And I may change. And if I go on vacation or change some plans, I just change the whole thing and it changes for everybody. It's amazing. It's priceless.
And so you use the accept reject feature, the tentative, what we call the tentative feature.
Okay, that alone is worth the trip and worth the cost by far, because time, if you compute the time you spend just with scheduling, it's just no context. So you have to basically, if you're serious. Now, I use it also a different way. For money, if you really want a short session with Hervé, you click there, you pay on Stripe, and then I do the best job I have.
What's the best piece of business advice that you would give either to yourself starting out again, if you could talk to your younger self, or to somebody else starting a new business?
If you create time, you're going to use that time anyway, but have fun at it. Absolutely invest in yourself. Hire a personal growth coach or something, get feedback, go learn to meditate, go to personal growth workshops, discover who you are. And learn to love yourself, learn to respect yourself, learn to give yourself permissions to be exactly who you are, the way you want it. And invest in that. Because there's a lot of protection that gets created when you feel good about yourself. Therefore, you can do permission. You can give yourself permission to take risks, to ask questions, to not know, to not be perfect, to fail. You give yourself a whole bunch of permission. And it creates a whole cycle of success.
Now let's go into our little lightning round, which is you rather one thing or the other. So first question is, would you rather throw out your phone or your laptop?
I'll throw out the phone.
Why do you think that?
First of all, because I travel all over the world, and all over the world people use WhatsApp. And WhatsApp is available on the laptop.
Would you rather get a new customer or double your sales to an existing customer?
No, I want to have a bigger impact on the planet, so I'll take new customers.
Okay, great. And would you rather speak at a huge conference or make a new sale?
I speak at a new conference. It's just about bringing awareness out there. Yeah, of course.
More for everything.
No, more for sharing a message, sharing
one
a vision,
to many rather than one to one,
and contributing. And then out of that, of course, some guys will hire me, but F sales.
Hervé Da Costa, thank you so much for all this time. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've gone much longer than we should have, but it's been such a great time talking to you. I've really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. Thank you so much. And thank you for being such a long time YouCanBookMe customer.